Welcome back to the second part of this tutorial. Okay, now guys, what I am going to do is I'm going to exit out and let's work on embedding the MySQL. So I'm going to go straight into the Solution Explorer here. There, once the Solution Explorer is opened, you see right in here where we have reference, right click on that and let's select add reference, this very one there. Okay, and once that opens up, all you then need to do is you can come right here and just type in MySQL, search for that. Okay, let's check on recent. Okay, that's the most recent one because I used it earlier. Then click on this check button. Underneath is for speech. We're not working on speech, so that's okay. So let's click on OK. But if you can't find it next time, just click on browse. Click on OK. There. And that is it. MySQL is now embedded onto the system or attached to the system. Alright then. So I'm going to go into the code view of this system. So let's click on form.h and scroll right up there. And what I want to do is, you see where we have using namespace, I want to import MySQL data.client. So I'm just going to copy that, paste it right underneath, space MySQL column data column MySQL client. That is it right there. Enter semicolon. That is it, all done. Now you see right underneath where we have public reference class form, I'm going to now create all my database connectors. So I'm going to start by saying MySQL connection. Let's look for the one that says connection. There we go. Okay, then reference it to your own variable. My variable in this case is SQL con. That will be equals garbage collector new. Okay, and that will be equals MySQL connection. That is it. I've just created an object there. That is fine. Now the next one is we want to create one for command. So I'm going to come right down here. Let's just enter MySQL command. There we go. That is it right there. And I'm going to create a variable that will be MySQL command cmd. That will be equals garbage collector MySQL command, this very one. So grab that. 2. So that is going to initiate the connectivity commands. Now the next one is going to be for my data table. Let's say data table. Grab that, and I'll just call that SQLDT. That will be equals garbage new data table. There. that is done. We're missing exponential there. Okay, that's it. That's what defines it as an object. Okay, the next one is I'm going to create one for the data adapter. Okay, so MySQL data adapter, and I'll just give that a name, SQL data adapter equals GC and a data adapter MySQL. Let's enter exponential in there, MySQL data adapter. Alright, we also need to grab hold of the SQL reader as well, okay, and the data set. So we might as well just do that now. MySQL, that will be data reader, there we go. And I'm just going to call that SQL RD. There we go. That's all. That's going to be just a variable, kind of. Then the next one is going to be data set, and the data set is going to be as an object as well. Data set there. Okay, well, let's give it a name. I'm just going to call it DS. There, that's it, done. I will now declare a string variable that I'm going to use later on to query my system. So I'll call that SQL query. Let's enter exponential sign there. Alright, all of that is done now. The next thing I'm going to do now is to add just 3 variables. One is going to be for the server, the username, the password, and the database. So I'm just going to grab this. Okay, so paste 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is going to be for my server. So let's change this one to server. There we go. And the server equals local host there. So that is done. Now the next one is going to be username. The username is going to be the root there, followed by password, and the password, I'm just going to make that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my password. There we go. And finally the database. So I'm going to call that database. And the database, we're going to have to create a database. So that database that we want to create, let's just call it CPP student DB. Okay, that's the name of my database. I'm just going to make that up, CPP student database. Okay, CPP student database doesn't exist yet. Alright, however, since we have declared everything, we might as well go right underneath the pragma end region and just enter or create a function that will drive our database. So I'm going to go right down here, right underneath Pragma. Let's scroll right down here. There we go. Okay, right underneath here. So I'm going to create my function there. Okay, this very function, let's call it private, enter column there, versus system column void. That should be uppercase void though. Uppercase void. Let's just call it student upload there. And let's correct this. Student upload, then we enter parentheses in there. So that's going to be the name of my function coming here there. Okay, student upload, that's my function there. So inside this function, all of those variables that were declared, the first one is SQL con, that will be dash connection string actually, and the connection string is going to be server. Okay, and it's going to be equals server, that's plus server again. There we go. Plus the next one is going to be, first of all, let's enter speech mark semicolon there. Now the next one is going to be username. Let's say that will be plus username equals, so this username, let's put that in a quote. There. That is the username, it's in a quote. Then I'm just going to enter plus username itself. And let's enter speech mark column plus, let's take that down. The next one is going to be password equals password plus password plus there, plus the next one now is going to then be the database and this database is going to be database as well. Enter a plus here, paste the database there, and end it with semicolon there. Okay, now let's get it opened. So this connector, we want it to open up something for us to open up the database, though the database is not ready yet, if you guys can still recall. So let's just say SQL connection, that will be open there. Then the command, SQL command, that will be equals dash command text. Right, that's good. And this command text, it's not command text really. Okay, it is. Yeah, that will open command. So let's say SQL command. Okay, that will be connection equals this connection, that will be equals SQL con. Now SQL command, that is where we enter our SQL statement. So I'm going to say select from, now the name of my database that I haven't created, I think I call it CPP student DB. So let's confirm that very name. Scroll right up, there we go, that is a CPP student DB. Okay, that is my database. This database is not created yet. Okay, so let's make sure it's correct. CPP student DB. Yeah, all right, so that is it. Enter a semicolon there to end that. Now we want to get the SQL reader to be equals the command and get it executed. So let's say SQL read, that will be equals SQL command dot execute read, execute reader. There we go, and enter semicolon there. No, not that, to be, that is wrong, get rid of that. Execute reader, yeah, that is correct. Now SQL database, SQL DT data table, we want you to load the SQL reader. Bring that up so that you can see it, and get the reader within the reader there within the parentheses. There we go. Now that that is done, we now have to close this reader, and we will also have to close the connector up there. So close reader dash close, and we close the connector as well. So grab this and just type in SQL con there. That is that done. Okay, there's one thing that I may have not shown to you guys, and that is just supposed to be an ordinary DataGridView. So say SQL DataGridView, DataGridView 1, that will be dash data source, and the data source equals SQL DT. There we go. And that is all there is to the function. The function is created. This function, I'm going to invoke this function inside using form load. So let's come right here, go to design, right here inside the design. Before I double click on the form, let me show you guys student database. That is just that is the DataGridView that I was talking about. I should have shown it to you guys. It's just an ordinary DataGridView. All you need to do is go to tools and just grab it right there, just drag it how you want it. That's the DataGridView. Okay, now let's go back into the form. So to make sure I click on the form, that is the form, double click on the form, and now I want to come right down here and just enter my function, end it with semicolon. So I've just called this very function. Like I said earlier, my table or my database is not created yet. That's the name of the database. I'm going to copy that very name. Now let's open up my SQL workbench. Inside the workbench, let's click on schema, this very one, and let's give it a name. So the name of the database is CPP Student DB. I'm now going to click on apply. Click on apply again there and click on finish. So let's look for CPP Student DB that I've just created. That is it right here. Okay, and then click on the table. Inside the table, all we then need to do is select create table, and there we go. I'm going to give it a name again, paste that same name, CPP Student DB. Now you see this double head arrow, drop it down and right in here, column name. The first one, I'm just going to call it student ID. Okay, we can use uppercase. Let's say student ID in there. Alright, that's fine. Now let's select the primary key and make sure it's unique value, and it must not be empty. Now the next field or column is going to be first name. I'm going to leave that as Varsha45, followed by surname, address underneath here, and right underneath I'm going to enter gender here, DOB. Next, that will be mobile, and underneath the mobile will be email. There. So I've more or less taken care of this, the first column there. Okay, let's take care of the other one. That is going to be course, and underneath the course will be course code. After course code we have home student, then we have overseas student. Okay, that's fine. Then we have accommodation. Yeah. Then we have exchange student. We just leave that as exchange. Then we have scholarship. There we go. There. That is fine. Now the next one that we going to add will be BA, BSc, that's the different types of degree, MA, MSc, and PhD. Good. In total I should have 39 of those. So followed by module 1, module 2, module 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 modules, so that's complete. Now we then need the score. There are 8 scores, so we need a score number 1, score 2, score 3, score 4, score 5, score 6, score 7, and score 8. There we go, man. So the next one we want to do now is total score. After that, ranking, and after the ranking, date. I think we've more or less finished the table or the database. So let's click on apply. I should have 39. So with this very one that shows the table SQL create SQL. So take it down up to that is correct. I have 39. So I'm going to click on apply and click on finish, and that's all there is to it. My SQL table is now completed. So if we double click on that, and we should be able to see our table there. So that is fine. I'm going to minimize that. Okay, I can now go straight into my system and let's try it out, though nothing will happen. Okay, but if there's no error, that means all is well. Okay guys, let's click on build, then we run it and see. Although we won't be able to see anything inside the database, but at least the DataGridView should show the headings. So let's click on run. If the headings are shown on the DataGridView, then the system is working fine with my database. Very good, there's no error. So let's check out the DataGridView. There we go. Those are the fields or the columns on my database. There we go guys, look at them. Every single column is right here. 39 of them. That is it right here. Okay, so that is fine. So now let's check out the add. Okay, so let's take care of the add. If the add works, we should be able to enter data in there and just click on add, and that's it. So I'm going to exit out now and let's double click on add button. Scroll right down, double click on the add button. There we go. So to make life easy for me, I'm going to go up here and just grab this. Let's grab that up to here. That's fine. Just grab all of those. Come right down. This is my add events. So paste that in there, and maybe I might as well just enter try in here. So come right here. Let's say try. If there's any error, that would be very, very handy with the try function. So let's grab this connector that's asking the system to open up, and we'll try. Let's end it here and let's say cache, and that will be exception ex. Come right down here, there, and let's enter a message in there. So I'm going to say message box column show ex dash message. So if there's any error, this will actually handles it. There. Now let's go back inside try right here. So inside try, the first thing I want to do is for the connector to open up the database. Then I'm going to then use my SQL query that I declared separately, okay, using a string character, and I'll say string data type, I mean insert into CPP student DB. Okay, that is the name of my database. The following. So the following will include all of the above. Student ID, comma, first name. You guys can still recall, those are my table. Those are the columns of my table. Surname, address, gender. I have DOB, mobile, comma, email, comma. Let's come down here and just enter. Let's say course comma, course code. Yep, that's good. Home student, overseas student, looking good. And we have accommodation. Then we have exchange, comma, scholarship. And we then have BA, comma, BSc, comma, let's close that, press enter, MA, MSc, comma, PhD. Now we have modules, module 1. So let's copy this module first. There, 1, comma, module 2, module 3, module 4, module 5, 6, 7, and 8. There we go. All the modules are in place. Let's put a comma and a speech mark, plus, press enter. The next one is going to be score. Score 1. So let's copy this score. Copy, comma, score 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and score number 8. There we go, score 8. So all of the score are in place as well. Then the next one is going to be total score. Total score, comma, followed by ranking, comma, and date. Alright, that is it, all done. So we now need the values. For the values, we then enter value equals as follows. Do that again. Okay, the very first value, that is txt student ID. There, dash to text. That's my very first value. And we just say plus speech mark apostrophe. There should be a comma in there. Plus, the next one is going to be first name. No, yeah, first name. txt first name. Grab all of these again and just paste it here. Followed by surnames, txt surname. The surname dash text. So we're missing dash text here as well. Okay, so that is fine. So I should have just copied all of this like this. There we go, copy. We have so up to surname. Okay, so now let's go for the next one. Let's put this one here, paste. Okay, Now let's go to the next line. That will be address. txt address. Grab all of these and just paste it there. That is for address. Okay guys, so all I'm doing is just calling every single data that I have on my system. I'm not calling them individually by name. The next one after address is gender, so I can grab all of these and just change that to gender. In the case of gender, that is CBO gender. The next one is date of birth. Date of birth. And we have, after that we have mobile. You can paste that in there. Mobile. Change this one to mobile. Okay, and so on guys. So I'm going to speed that up. And there we go guys, all done. Okay, and there, that's where the command gets it all executed. Take it down so that you guys can see it. So that is the add button taken care of. Right. Okay, take a good look at it from the top. Take it from the top. Okay, that is my add button. Bring it right down. And this is where I call every single column, and those are the components I have on my form. Okay, adding the values in there, and here getting it connected and close up the database itself after execution, or after executing the reader. So here, if there's any error, that is the error handler. And finally, if everything goes well, close the database and display this message. Then invoke the function that we created earlier, and that's all there is to it. So I'm going to save that. Let's compile and run just to give it a try, make sure it works. First step is done. There is no error, one successful. So let's click on run. There. Now I'm going to enter some data in here. So the first is going to be, let's say, the number, student ID number is 555 432 555 432, and the name of these very students, I want to call him Tony Montana. And right underneath here, address number 17, Little Venice. Avenue, there. Gender is male, and address, let's say it was born 17/7/19. There we go. Telephone number, and his email, TonyMontana@gmail.com. So let me just speed up adding all the data there. So I've populated most of all, so I'm just gonna drop this down as an home students, and that's it. And in here, let's assume is BSc, and here it's in final year or third year. Just enter the units that is taken in there. Because the score area is all disabled, that's how it's going to remain, and 1, 2 and 3 will not show any data. So let's see, check out the database itself. Okay, the DataGridView, there's nothing in there. and there is nothing of the student Tony Montana here. Hopefully, if the add function works, click on that. There we go, it's working. So click on OK. Let's come in here, and that is the details of Tony Montana. And like I said, there's nothing in here in those 3 cells. And let's go straight into our database. That is the workbench itself. Nothing yet. If I click on refresh, there we go. Look at that, guys. Or the connector is working. So the add function is out of the way. That's good. I'm going to call it the end of the second part of this tutorial, and I'll see you guys shortly.